Abortion legislation has played a significant role in shaping women's history. Abortion is a deliberate termination of a human pregnancy, most often performed during the first 28 weeks of pregnancy. Prior to 1821, there were no significant abortion laws. The 1821 law banned abortions that were performed prior to the baby being quickened, that is approximately 3 to 4 months of age. This was enacted with the logic of protecting women from unsafe abortions, as prior to the second trimester, it was common to take herbal supplements and medications to naturally abort the child. After 1821, there was no major abortion legislation until the Comstock Act, which banned information about abortion and birth control in 1873. In 1963, the Society for Human Abortion began to ignore the Comstock Act by openly providing information about abortions and birth control. States continued to pass legislation banning abortions until 1967, in which 49 states had passed laws that illegalized abortions, except in extreme circumstances.
You have a case coming from Texas, begun by a woman who on paper, at least, is named Jane Roe. She was 21 years old, she was pregnant, and she didn't want to have this baby. The Texas law was one of the strictest in the nation. It allowed abortion only in cases to save the life of the mother. So even if you had a situation where a young woman had been raped or the victim of incest, she still could not get an abortion in Texas.
In terms of Roe v. Wade, there was strong response in support and opposition to the case. One group, composed of mostly religious organizations, supported Wade in the state of Texas in upholding the laws of the time period. This group commonly considered itself pro-life. The other side, composed of more liberal groups, supported Roe in saying that a woman had the right to determine if she wanted to terminate a pregnancy or not. This group commonly called pro-choice. After 2 years of hearings and deliberation, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Roe, overturning Texas law. After the Supreme Court ruling, no state could ban an abortion before the first trimester. Any state law that conflicted with this ruling was automatically overturned, but states were allowed to pass restrictive laws limiting abortion access past the first trimester.
After Roe v. Wade, pro-life groups began to immediately fight for the repeal of the Roe v. Wade decision. Since 1973, pro-life groups have consistently lobbied senators and representatives to pass a right-to-life constitutional amendment. Pro-choice groups such as the National Abortion Rights Action League have feared that there has been a slow erosion of abortion rights that has taken place since Roe v. Wade. In 1976, Congress passed the Hyde Amendment, which banned the use of Medicaid to fund abortions. The Hyde Amendment was upheld by the Supreme Court in 1980. In 1989, in Webster v. Reproductive Health Services, a law in Washington state declared that life begins at conception was declared unconstitutional, but also marks the first time that the Supreme Court did not explicitly reaffirm Roe v. Wade. In 1992, the Supreme Court upheld Roe v. Wade in Planned Parenthood v. Casey in determining that the state may not interfere with a woman's decision to have an abortion, but it did determine that 24-hour wait periods and parental consent laws would be in place.